We have all damaged our skin barrier at least once. Literally every person in this world has done it without even realizing it. So in this video, I will show you the 7 signs of a damaged skin barrier with acne. That will help you know if your skin barrier is damaged and if that acne that you actually have isn't really acne, it's just a broken skin barrier. So if the signs I'm about to give you actually indicate this, I'm also going to show you how to repair your damaged skin barrier correctly so that your skin clears up as fast as possible. But I want you to think at the thing I mentioned at the beginning, how you damage your skin barrier without even realizing it, because literally each of us have done it in our lives at least once. Whether you are 50, 30, or even if you are a teen, it's something you haven't really thought about, but it's a really good example on how you should repair it correctly because you've done that without being aware of it. So I'm gonna explain you exactly what this situation is, how we all damage our skin barrier at the end of this video. So stay with me until then because you don't want to miss this, trust me. Hi and welcome to Acne from A to Z. I'm a pharmacist and on this channel I show you how to get rid of your acne by fighting its root cause. So if this is something you are interested in, make sure to subscribe and also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram for more daily videos and tips about acne. Here's the timeline of this video, what we are going to talk about today. As I promised, we will start with the 7 most important signs of a damaged skin barrier. Then we will move on to comparing it with other skin affections that are very similar and people have a really hard time to tell the difference between them. Next, I will show you how to treat and repair your skin barrier correctly in case it is damaged. And at the end, like I promised, I will give you the best example of how each of us has damaged our skin barrier once without even realizing it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. When you are trying to find out if you have a damaged skin barrier or not, the first thing I would personally look at is the redness or itching. And I have actually put these 2 signs together because some people develop redness while others struggle with itchiness. So you don't necessarily have to have both at the same time. This can be possible, but a lot of times you will only have one of them. So your skin will either be red in that area where your skin barrier is broken or it will be itchy. And these are probably some of the most common signs of a broken skin barrier. In my experience, I have seen a lot of people who struggle with a damaged skin barrier and most of them have at least one of these signs. Now, what you guys want to know is that if you actually have a broken skin barrier, chances are it is not broken all over your face. For this reason, you will only get redness or irritation in that area where your skin barrier is mostly damaged. And let's take an example so that you understand it better. I'm not going to talk about the causes and the factors that lead to a broken skin barrier because this would make this video very long, and I'm actually going to make another one about the mistakes and the things that are damaging your skin barrier. However, based on my experience, one of the most common factors that is breaking your skin barrier is over-exfoliation. So let's assume you are over-exfoliating, obviously without even realizing it, and you break your skin barrier. But you want to keep in mind that your skin barrier is not going to damage all over your face. Even though in this example, let's say that you over-exfoliated all over your face. And that's because your skin is more sensitive in certain areas. And usually those are the ones that get damaged faster. So in this example, the redness or the irritation will not appear all over your face. This can happen obviously, but in most cases it will only appear in certain areas of your face that are more damaged. So they were more sensitive and they got damaged a lot faster. What I'm trying to point out is that if you have a damaged skin barrier, you should not expect to have redness or itchiness all over your face. you can actually have it only in a very small part of your face, which indicates that you have mostly damaged your skin barrier in that area. So logically speaking, the less redness and itchiness you have, the better, because the smaller the area that you have damaged the skin barrier on. Another super specific sign of a damaged skin barrier is its inability to keep moisture inside. And a lot of people translate this into dryness, but I would say this is not 100% correct, because a lot of people who have an oily skin type can damage their skin barrier and their skin will not be super dry. So if we took dryness as a sign of a damaged skin barrier, they wouldn't really fit into this criteria. Instead, even those people's skin will be unable to keep moisture anymore. And this is why I like to use this phrase in order to describe this sign. So your skin is no longer able to keep moisture inside. And yes, a lot of time this translates into dryness, but like I said, if you have an oilier skin type, your skin doesn't necessarily have to be super dry in order to see that you have a damaged skin barrier. A lot of times it's simply peeling off or it's feeling flaky. This is something very common if you have damaged your skin barrier, and this can happen whether your skin type is drier or more oilier. I would also like to mention here rough patches, so rough patches of skin, and I have actually experienced this myself a couple of years back when I damaged my skin barrier with azelaic acid. Or I should actually say that I have literally destroyed it, because my skin barrier was in shambles and it took me a lot of times to repair it. I think I mentioned this story in another video. It's pretty long, but the point is that I developed some really red patches that were very rough. They felt like an old person's skin, and no matter how much I tried to hydrate it, it would not be able to keep moisture. So I only solved those rough patches with a treatment from a dermatologist. But the point is that if you have this kind of rough patches that I had, this is a sign that your skin barrier is very damaged. So this is an extreme case, and hopefully you do not have that, because it's gonna be harder to repair it. So I would say that a slightly or a moderately damaged skin barrier usually has skin that is flaky or is peeling off. If you have rough patches, this is a pretty serious case. Another super common sign of a broken skin barrier is stinging or burning. And this usually happens when you apply certain products, so do not expect to experience these problems on a constant basis. So your skin is not going to sting or burn when you do not apply anything on it. This will mostly happen if you use products, not necessarily active ingredients. You can use even hydrating or moisturizing products, but if you have a damaged skin barrier, stinging or burning after you apply this product is a really good sign that there's something not right. And this actually goes hand in hand with the fourth sign from my list, which is the fact that products that worked for you in the past no longer work. And by this I mean that your skin no longer tolerates them. Like I said, it starts to sting, to burn, to feel itchy. It starts to get irritated after you apply this product. And this is very easy to spot if you used to have a constant skincare routine. So you would use the same products over and over again for months, maybe for years. I know some people have used products for years and they were tolerating them. Those products were helping them. And when they damaged their skin barrier, their skin stopped tolerating those products. So it was pretty obvious that it was not because of those products. There was nothing wrong with them since they have used them successfully for years. Instead, this was a very good sign that there was something wrong with their skin barrier and it could no longer tolerate those products. Now, a lot of people ask me about acne and a damaged skin barrier, and acne can actually be a very good sign of a broken skin barrier, especially if you did not not used to break out before. And getting back to my story, if you watched that video where I talked about how I damaged my skin barrier, you will see that I experienced acne myself. I actually started to break out a lot worse in those areas where my skin barrier was damaged, a lot worse than before. And this is actually very common, and the explanation is also very simple. Your skin barrier basically starts to live in toxins, bacteria, viruses, and things that can make you break out. So that protective layer that was supposed to protect you is no longer there, and this is why a lot of people who have a damaged skin barrier start to get small pimples or even notice that their acne gets worse than before. All of that after damaging their skin barrier. So there's a big connection between a damaged skin barrier and acne, and a broken skin barrier can indirectly cause breakouts, simply because it is no longer able to protect you. Now, what you want to keep in mind here is that if you are breaking out because of a damaged skin barrier, do not expect to have a very aggressive type of acne, like hormonal acne or gut acne. This can only happen if your acne also has an additional trigger besides, but if you are exclusively breaking out because of a damaged skin barrier, your pimples will usually be pretty mild. They will not be very aggressive, not very severe, and they should not leave serious marks behind. So this is a really good example to tell the difference between acne that is caused by a broken skin barrier that appears because of a broken skin barrier and acne that is caused by internal issues like hormonal imbalances or gut problems. And speaking of acne, a lot of people do not realize that they are breaking out because of a damaged skin barrier. So what they do is that they apply actives, which is going to worsen their acne. And that's because when you have a damaged skin barrier, you should avoid actives at all costs. And we are going to talk more about this at the treatment section in a couple of minutes. But what you want to know is that when you have a damaged skin barrier, applying actives is only going to make it worse because it will damage it even more. So in this case, it kind of makes sense that your acne is going to worsen. So if you have applied actives, things like benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, even azelaic acid, and generally treatments that are used for acne. So if you have applied any of this onto your acne and you notice that it starts to get a lot worse, chances are those breakouts are actually because of a damaged skin barrier. And I'm gonna tell you in a couple of minutes what you should do instead in order to repair your skin barrier and obviously fix your acne. Now, the last sign from this list is for those of you who are not sure that have a damaged skin barrier, because let's say that you do not have any of those signs that I mentioned above. So you do not have irritation, itching, redness, your skin is not super dry. Instead, you do believe you may have damaged your skin barrier because let's say your skin doesn't really tolerate products anymore. So what I want to tell you is that a damaged skin barrier doesn't necessarily have to be super red, super irritated, very dry. Instead, it can also be very dull. So it's that kind of skin that lacks smoothness, that lacks shine. Instead, it is very dull and it is not the kind of texture your skin usually has. So it doesn't really make any sense comparing your skin to someone else's skin. Instead, what you should do is to compare your skin to its previous state, because you know your skin better than anyone else. And if you do notice that your skin is a lot more dull and it lacks shine and smoothness compared to what it was before, you could also have damaged your skin barrier, but in a more mild way. So what I'm trying to tell you with this sign is that a damaged skin barrier doesn't necessarily have to be very irritated, red, painful, and it doesn't have to have all of the signs. Instead, it can be more subtle. So just with dullness, with lack of elasticity, with lack of shine, things that make you realize there's something going on with it. And if you are in this situation, the good news is that your skin barrier is probably slightly damaged, so it's going to be easier to fix it. And this actually takes us to the profile of a damaged skin barrier. So depending on how badly you have damaged it, you should expect to have redness, irritation, itchiness, stinging and burning when you apply products, even products that used to work for you before. You can also notice breakouts, especially if you use actives. Your breakouts are going to get worse. And if you are lucky to have damaged your skin barrier very little only, your only symptoms may be dullness and a lack of shine. So this is also possible. It's not as common to have a more subtle skin barrier damage, but it is possible. Now, a lot of people ask me, how can you tell the difference between a broken skin barrier and actual acne that has a specific trigger like hormones, oily skin, fungus, and things like that? And in this section, I want to talk a little bit about this. So I'm going to compare a damaged skin barrier, its signs, to the signs of acne, and how can you tell if you are actually breaking out because of real acne, because of regular acne, or because of a damaged skin barrier. And probably the easiest way to tell the difference is to look at how your skin reacts when you apply actives on it. So things like benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, any type of exfoliants, azelaic acid, retinoids, and things like that. So normally, regular acne should not get worse when you apply these things. It may not get better, especially if its cause is something internal like hormonal imbalances. However, it should not get worse. But if your acne, if your breakouts are caused by a damaged skin barrier, they will most likely worsen when you apply this kind of actives, and you will get this kind of stinging and burning immediately after you apply them. So your skin will not tolerate them too well. You can try the same things with hydrating or moisturizing products, because if your skin barrier is very damaged, you will still feel that stinging or burning, which will not happen if your acne has a specific cause like skin fungus, hormonal issues, and so on. So in this case, you have a healthy skin barrier, and in the other case, you have a damaged skin barrier. And its response is what tells you the difference. When it comes to the aspect of your pimples, it's pretty hard to tell the difference, because a lot of times acne that appears due to a damaged skin barrier is milder, so it's not very aggressive. However, acne that is caused by oily skin or by skin bacteria is also not very aggressive. So this is why I would say you should not count on your pimples appearance if you want to tell the difference, because it can sometimes be pretty hard to know for sure. Another super common question that I get is how to tell the difference between a damaged skin barrier and rosacea. And things are a lot trickier here, because rosacea can appear like a damaged skin barrier a lot of times, and a damaged skin barrier itself can also look like rosacea, especially if you're not very sure how to tell the difference. So I want to try to clarify things here. What you want to know about rosacea is that its most important signs are facial redness and visible blood vessels. Now, visible blood vessels are not common in a damaged skin barrier. So if you have something like this on your face, this is rosacea. This is not a damaged skin barrier. So I would say that this is the easiest way to tell the difference. You should obviously see a doctor, because he is the best one to tell you for sure if your problem is actually rosacea or if it is a damaged skin barrier. But if you want to get a little sneak peek on what you should look at, I would say that visible blood vessels are the easiest way to tell the difference. Now, the problem is that these two issues can sometimes overlap, and that's because a damaged skin barrier can lead to rosacea. And actually, recent studies have shown that rosacea has high chances to be caused by a bacteria called Demodex. So if your skin barrier is damaged, this bacteria can get into your skin a lot easier than if you had a healthy skin barrier that would be able to protect you. This is why people who have a damaged skin barrier have higher chances to get rosacea. Now, the scientists are still not 100% sure that this bacteria is the only trigger of rosacea. There's also a lot of evidence about Helicobacter pylori and other bacteria that have been linked with rosacea, but so far we cannot tell 100% for sure. What we know is that this Demodex, this bacteria that has the ability to live on the skin, this this has also been linked to rosacea, so if you have a damaged skin barrier, you have higher chances to get it. And at the same time, if you have a more sensitive skin, you also have higher chances to get rosacea. So when it comes to a broken skin barrier and rosacea, there is a lot of mutual ground between them, and they can overlap, they can appear together. This is why it's pretty hard to tell the difference, and my advice for you would be to see a dermatologist if you think you have any of these problems. A lot of people have also asked me to tell the difference between a damaged skin barrier and closed comedones, and in my opinion, things are pretty simple here because closed comedones look totally different compared to a damaged skin barrier, so there aren't many similar signs that you can mistake one for the other. Even if you look at two pictures, one with closed comedones and the other one with a damaged skin barrier, you will not see too many similarities. So generally, closed comedones have the same color as your skin. They're not painful, there's no inflammation or redness, no irritation, and when you apply actives on them, they will not have any reaction, so your skin will not start to burn or to sting. Instead, exfoliation is actually recommended for closed comedones, but things are totally the opposite when it comes to a damaged skin barrier, because even if you try to apply actives, chances are your skin will start to burn a lot. And I'm not gonna mention again the most important signs of a damaged skin barrier, but like you could see, they are very different from those of closed comedones. But what should you do if you are sure you have a damaged skin barrier and maybe you are breaking out because of it or not? It doesn't really matter. What you should do in this case, how you should treat it, how should you fix your skin so that your skin barrier heals and it gets repaired. I've already mentioned one of the most important steps, and that is to give up actives completely. And its actives mean anything from exfoliants, so AHAs and BHAs, even cleansers with exfoliants. Pay attention to cleansers with BHAs, they are very, very common. Salicylic acid is a BHA in case you didn't know it, so you should no longer use cleansers with salicylic acid if you have a broken skin barrier. You should also avoid things like retinol or retinoids, benzoyl peroxide. This is another very common ingredient that is used for acne, even azelaic acid, which is the one that ruined my skin barrier. So generally, all kinds of actives are not recommended if you have a damaged skin barrier. Now, I know some of you have an oily skin and you are used to exfoliate very often because you feel like you really need to. Your skin is super greasy, you have a lot of sebum, and you feel like your skin absolutely needs a refresh with exfoliation. In this case, I strongly advise you to check my free case study. I'm gonna link it in the description, and it talks about how I helped one of my clients, Jessica, heal her skin barrier, and she was actually in your situation. She had a very oily skin type and she really felt the need to exfoliate, so I'm going to tell you exactly what she did and what I recommended her, because she did exfoliate, but she did not use the regular exfoliant. So make sure to check that case study. It's completely free and I promise it's going to help you. And the second step is to use ingredients that lock in moisture and are meant to repair the skin barrier. So obviously these ingredients should not have any active, so you should avoid all the ingredients that I mentioned before, because those can damage your skin barrier even further. Instead, you want to focus on ingredients that are thicker, that are hydrating, moisturizing. A lot of them are based on lipids, so they are going to prevent that moisture loss that happens a lot of times when your skin barrier is broken, and this is why you have that dryness. Now, the exact step-by-step routine is a bit more complex, a bit more personalized, and I'm actually preparing a masterclass on how to repair your skin barrier. It's gonna give you the exact step-by-step action plan and the exact products you should use if you are in this situation. If you're interested, I'm gonna link it down below. But what you wanna know and what you wanna remember is that the products you use are thick. They are hydrating and moisturizing, so you want to avoid exfoliation exfoliating at all costs, and also they are based on ingredients that are meant to repair the skin barrier. For example, things like probiotics, glycerin, niacinamide. These are all ingredients that are really good for a damaged skin barrier. The exact routine is pretty complex and pretty complicated, so it would be very hard for me to talk about it here because it would not be suitable for everyone. And this is why I'm going to make a full masterclass that is going to give you a lot of details about it. Now, if you remember that at the beginning of this video, I told you about a situation when we have all damaged our skin barrier without even realizing it, and we also managed to fix it again without being aware of it. So I am very curious if you thought about this situation and if you actually guessed it right. And the thing I was talking about is when you are having a cold and you are blowing your nose. So I am pretty sure we have all been at least once in this situation. And let me remind you what happens. If you blow your nose constantly a couple of days, you will notice that the skin on your nose gets very red, very painful. It starts to feel dry, peeling off, flaky, and no matter what you put on it, it is going to burn. Do you remember this situation? Because I've been in it in a lot of times, and this is the best example of a damaged skin barrier. So what do you do in this situation? And I personally always try to hydrate the area and to use moisturizing products that are thicker. And if you remember, a lot of times when you apply those products that are hydrating, so they are not actives, they're only moisturizing, all the time you apply those products, your skin starts to burn very badly, right? And even though it burns and even though it is painful, you continue to apply those creams because you know that your skin barrier is going to heal. You don't actually know that because you don't know that your skin barrier is damaged, but you continue to apply those creams simply because you know they will heal the area and they are exactly what your skin needs at that point. And in most cases, it takes about something like 5 days for your skin to recover and to get better, to get healthy again. And this is a good example because you are basically damaging your skin barrier mechanically, so because you are blowing your nose. But most people who damage their skin barrier on the face do not break it mechanically. They simply break it because of exfoliants or because of the chemical products they use. And generally, when you break your skin barrier mechanically, so because of blowing your nose, it is going to be easier for it to recover. So this is why it kind of gets better in a couple of days compared to a damaged skin barrier because of chemical exfoliants or products, which usually takes a bit longer. But now you know exactly what you have to do, and now you understand really well a broken skin barrier because it is exactly like when you damage your skin around your nose because of blowing your nose. So I really hope this video helped you understand whether you have a damaged skin barrier or not, and also how to repair it. And if you have any other examples of a damaged skin barrier and you would like to share with them, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And also let me know what kind of videos you would like to see from me, what exactly you are interested about acne, and what exactly would help you to have a video about. And that was it for today. I will see you in the next video.